You're seeing this review early, only a few weeks after the unboxing. Usually I break the boots in before I bring you the review. I wear them solidly for 2 weeks, and then I wear them about every other day for another 2 weeks. If they're actually great for walking, I take them on at least a couple of long walks in our forest reserves before I bring you the review. Not this boot. It's going to take longer, and yet even now I feel it's worth it. How you going? This is my boot review channel, Bootlosophy, and if you're new, my name is Tech. I'm filming on Wajak Nungabuja in Western Oz. This is the NYX handmade boot. It's a handsome boot. It's a well-made boot. But despite my 3 early experiences with NYX boots, this one ain't gonna break in anytime soon. I only did an unboxing video of this a few weeks ago. And this full review video has come early because I'm crying uncle. My usual schedule is to do an unboxing video and then I break the boots in to a stage where they are either comfortable or they're not going to get any more comfortable, and I can bring you a full review with the truth about how they develop on, say, your own feet. Now this is different. It's neither of the above, but I'll get to that. My schedule is usually a couple of weeks of everyday wear, and then a couple of weeks of every second day wear. And if they're not totally broken in or totally comfortable yet, I put them on again over another couple of weeks. In that time, unless they are dressy boots, I would also have taken them for at least 2 or 3 long, 2 to 4 hour walks on the trails of our forest reserves around Perth. That means a full review video is anything from 5 to 8 weeks after the unboxing. This pair is different. After wearing them for 3 weeks solid, every weekday, I haven't taken them on a long walk because I know I'm going to suffer. But I won't say that they cannot be made more comfortable over time, because they are getting more and more comfortable every day. Only that it will take a long time for me to say, oh yeah, they're broken in and they're now the proverbial glove. A long time. So I'm bringing you this full review early, and if I can wear them enough to do them justice, I will bring you an update in maybe another year or so. But first, I am not sponsored by NYX, but they did generously give me this boot to review after I saw it. I will put an affiliate link to their website below, but this review will be as objective as I can make it, even taking into account the smile on my face when they said that they had shipped this to me. When I saw this on the website, I have to admit, I lusted after it. It was in the quick ship area or returns area because it was an MTO for someone who returned it because of sizing issues. When I saw it, you know how NYX basically just have the side profile and not a lot more? When I saw it, I thought, oh, this is the kind of all blacked out boot I could wear every day, whether at the office or around and about. Why my NYX fetish? Well, for viewers new to the boot world, I've owned 3 other pairs of NYX boots. One, a Robert, I sold because I didn't like the style of that very big, tall heel, even though it was really comfortable on the high 55 arch. My other 2 favorites, the collaboration with Parkhurst in brown chrome XL, and the newer to me, Overlander in wax Spokane. Both are incredibly comfortable and solid, well-built boots. To boot people, American Pacific Northwest brands situated in the northwest states of Washington and Oregon, like NYX and White's and Drew, JK and Frank's, they are like the epitome of tough boot making. Leon in Mexico might be the world shoe capital, yes. Bandung, Indonesia, the center of beautifully handmade boots. Northampton in the UK for polished English boots. The P&W brands are the ultimate tough and comfortable, last you a lifetime boot makers. They're not cheap, but in the Bootlosophy doctrine, you should get what you pay for, and generally you do. This pair is different on my feet though. It's made from Wickett Craig full veg-tanned Latigo leather, and it's about 3.5 millimeters thick, in places 4. That's only slightly thicker by 0.3 or so millimeters than the wax Spokane or on my Overlanders, and maybe 3 or 4 millimeters thicker than the Chrome XL, which is already thick enough, on my Parkhurst collab boot. Oh, but the temporal level of firmness when you try to flex it on this veg-tanned Latigo is so firm that when I first put them on in the unboxing video, there was a moment's silence when my mind was thinking, oh, damn, do I announce it's too tight, that it's the wrong size? But no, wait, it does fit. It's just stiff and snug. I know now it is the right size. But here's a caveat for boot newbies who hear about P&W brands and veg-tan and Wickett Craig and maybe see boots with Latigo leather this thick. It's not for the beginner. I don't actually know if it was the wrong size for the original MTO order. And it may be that he had the same reaction I had. Damn, this is too snug. And maybe not wanting to dirty the sole and not be able to return it, he sent it back immediately. I must admit, after the unboxing video, I panicked. That evening, I bathed them in liquid mink oil. And as much as I slathered it in, the leather absorbed the oil, each coat within 15 to 20 minutes, ready for another slathering of the mink oil. The next day, I fearingly, is that a word? With great trepidation, I put them on thinking, I'll take them off at lunchtime. But I ended up wearing them all day. Now take note, I work in my management consulting office, so a lot of carpet walking and wheelie chair sitting, but in that 8 hours, the boots walked and wefted around my feet. No hot spots. By the end of the day, no heel slip. Still snug, don't get me wrong. Still a really firm, tough temper, sometimes cutting into my calf, but not so tight as to be painful as I feared. I will discuss it in the sizing section of this video, but it is in 8D, my usual knit size, and yes, it does fit. It just needs to know your feet and shape around them. The stiffness of the Latigo made it feel small, it wasn't, and that's why I think someone else's loss was truly my gain. As I said, even after 3 weeks, they're not really broken in. Comfortable enough now to wear all day, and soon I hope to wear on a long walk. Just not yet. I'll just briefly talk about the aesthetic of this boot. I said earlier when I saw the side profile on the website, I thought, oh, this is a boot I could wear every day in all of my activities, office or working in the house or going out or walking. The style is similar to a Nick's Falcon or a Robert, but it's 6 inches high, plain toe, thick and quite long block heel, and in the all black configuration, looked like a great general purpose boot, even to the professional consultant's office. I have to say though that when I unboxed it and saw it was a very round toe, I did think, no, I don't think it's suitable for smart business casual to walk into a client boardroom with very neat pants and shirt and maybe a suit. I still think the all black is a great look, but now that I see it in 3D, I think it's more of, say, a policeman's or a fireman's boot rather than as diverse a design as to be able to go to a professional office as well as being out in the field. Having said that though, it has very neat lines in profile or from the top, although the round toe does kind of foreshorten it from the top view, especially for people like me with smaller size 8 to 9 feet. The thick but flat sole and the long low block heel, built on the lower H&W moderate last, gives the boot a sleek forward-leaning look, and the unstructured toe is already looking decidedly unbulky. For looks, I switched the usual leather laces for an all black nylon lace, and I think avoiding the cut leather edges of the leather lace, they make it look more consolidated. So I'm changing my thinking. This is going to be a casual boot for me for walking around town, and despite the weight, and once I feel it's broken in enough not to cause me problems, I think it's going to be a great walking boot and even a future traveling boot for adventures on vacation. Let's jump straight into construction. And due to the character of the Latigo from Wickett Craig, let me start there. This is not my first Wickett Craig leather, but it is my first Latigo and certainly my first Wickett Craig leather in this weight. Wickett Craig is an American tannery founded in, wait for it, 1867. I'm not American, but I love the idea of a generations old business, wherever it is, still going strong today. I read somewhere, but now I can't find the source, that Wickett Craig were originally based in Toronto, Canada, but is now based in Pennsylvania in the USA. They are famous for making veg-tanned leathers. Now there are two ways you can tan leather. The more original veg tanning, where you tan the hide for days, if not weeks, in vats of vegetable matter, oak bark tannin, and the faster chromium salt tanning or chrome tanning, which you can tan within a couple of days. Veg tans produce a firmer leather, and you get leathers like bridal leather, and so it's very durable. Veg tan leather is often used in high-end cars as well, like Rolls-Royce and Rover, for their seats. Latigo is veg tanned, but then it's heavily stuffed and permeated with oils and waxes. It is slightly waxy to the touch and to some extent is a pull-up leather, but you can't really see that effect in black. It can, as is my experience, be very stiff, but breaks into the shape of your feet and eventually, while not beginner user-friendly, becomes a supple and patina-making boot. The pattern is quite simple, with a plain toe vamp, 2/4 panels, a low but long heel cup, and a backset that goes up the back sewn on by the Nick's inverted V stitching. All the stitching of the uppers pieces is super tight and clean, with quadruple stitches at the quarters and triple stitches at the heel cup. The whole boot is unlined, and inside you can feel how waxy the Latigo really is. It has a brown base. So for patina, if you wear it hard enough, which I'm sure I won't, it will T-core and show the brown base over time as the black wears off. The collar is raw cut edge with no pull loop at the back, and the tongue, made of a different, thinner, softer leather, is unlined and fully gusseted right across the top. So you do have to fold it when you lace up. To protect the tongue, Nick's gives you false tongues, which are made of the same Latigo as the uppers. The hardware is brass, painted black, and while good quality and with those P&W style milled brass speed hooks, they're very simply pressed on at the back. In this case, pretty well done though, because I can't feel any scratchy bits to the pressed metal. The eyelets themselves are backed at the back, and they're very smooth to the touch. Inside the boot is the thick veg tan insole, and at the heel, they glue a black comfort liner to protect against the clinch nails at the heel. It is a stitch down construction boot, meaning the front is lasted and then the uppers are turned outwards and stitched to the midsole. It is a double stitch, both going through the uppers leather, midsole and the rubber outsole. At the back of the boot, the uppers are tucked in and then attached with a lot of glue and nails. There is a lot of leather under your feet. The insole is thick, firm veg tan. The midsole is thick, firm veg tan. And I understand there's a leather shank building up under your arches. I'm sure I'll repeat it in the section on fit and comfort, but it is incredibly comfortable underfoot. From the side, you can see the layers. The thick turned out uppers leather, and then the thick midsole, and then the thick rubber outsole. You can see underneath, from the bow that appears under the arch, evidence of more layers of leather used as the shank. As with all P&W stitch down boots, you can also see that they use the thick midsole as a base of operations. It's just laid out like a foundational raft, and on it everything gets built, and under it everything gets hung. Even when they sand the edges, they don't bother to sand it too close, which also, by the way, helps with resoling, so that your cobbler doesn't have to struggle finding those really old stitch holes in that very thin midsole layer. A finely and delicately made Viberg boot, it is not. The heel stiffener is leather and the toe box is unstructured. The outsole is a Vibram V-bar, but the heel topper is from Dr. Sole, glued and nailed on top of 3 leather lifts. With all that leather and hard rubber, this is a heavy boot. Each boot weighs nearly 1.2 kilograms. My research into Wickett Craig Latigo reveals that very little care is required. Because it is permeated with oils and waxes, it is very resistant to the elements and requires minimal maintenance. The best way to care for it is to keep it clean, condition sparingly, and let it develop patina with wear. Brush it regularly, and if it gets muddy or stained, wipe it with a damp cloth, and if you have to, saddle soak them. Let them dry naturally, of course, and then apply a leather conditioner like Obernoff's, or even Venetian shoe cream was recommended. I'd be very happy using R.M. Williams' leather and saddle dressing, made especially for their oilier leathers. That also has enough wax to protect the boots. You can buff them up with a beeswax-based wax or a conditioner for a dull sheen. Drowning them with liquid mink oil probably wasn't on the care list, but it helped with the first day stiffness, and it certainly didn't do them any harm. But I would probably not do that again regularly. Okay, so going back to sizing and fit, and in a little more detail this time. I measure a US 8.5 in D width on the Brannock device. In most heritage boots like Red Wings, Allen Edmonds, Alden, Thursday, Grant Stone, Parkhurst, I wear an 8D. They usually size a half down. On my first Nicks, which I purchased from eBay, a Robert on the 55 last, I bought an 8D and it was a perfect fit. In the Parkhurst collab on Parkhurst's 602 last, which I know very well, I took an 8D, and while the fit was good, I think the hand lasting of such a thick Chrome XL leather, I thought with the almond shaped toe, it looked slightly long. When I got my Nicks Overlander, I was advised to get a 7.5 double E, and the fit, especially with that supple Spokane leather, chrome pack based, was perfect. In this, the 8D, it is a good fit, but it took me a while to realize that, because of the stiffness of the Latigo leather. And because of that big round toe, that threw me a bit, because visually when I looked down, it kind of looked short. The stiffness is gone now, and it fits snug but good, and the length is just fine. In fact, as the stiffness went, I was able to feel my toes, and there is an ample thumb's width in front of my toes. So take your usual Nicks size, or otherwise a half down from your Brannock size. In the comments, please do not ask me for my sneaker size, which is the biggest waste of time in sizing that I know of. I take 3 different sneaker sizes in 5 different sneaker brands. Don't ask me. I don't know what the original order cost was, but a stock Falcon is about $615 US. Overall, as in my other Nicks boots, I think that Nicks pricing is generally value in the sense that you get what you pay for. There is a lot of durable build method displayed here, a lot of good materials, a lot of leather, and while it's not put together with finesse, it's put together to last. I've become a big fan of Nicks build quality and feel. The sturdy, although heavy boots look and feel the part. This pair with my rotation is going to take me a long time to wear until it feels glove-like. But even now I feel it's getting there, and I don't think this will be my last Nicks boot, to be honest. At any rate, I hope you liked the review. If you did, I would really appreciate your clicking on like down below. It really does help my channel, you know, and it even helps other boot nerds because it gets YouTube to show it to more people. Of course, if you're new here and you haven't subbed yet, I do boot reviews every week, dropping 2 videos a week, so click on subscribe too. Until I see you next time, you take care out there, and I will see you soon. I don't actually know if I was the wrong size. Sorry. Start again.